empty calories. Are they worth it? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here today to talk about this concept of empty calories. What does that even mean? Are they bad? Can I indulge in them once in a while? We're gonna dive in. Thank you for being here. My name is Chelsea. I'm your gut health coach, functional nutritional therapy practitioner, and let's just dive right in. So when it comes to this concept of empty calories, WTF does that even mean? So I feel like in the health industry, in the nutrition industry, this term has gotta go, if I'm being honest about my opinion. When we're talking about something that's empty calories, what we really mean to say is that it doesn't offer much in terms of nutritional nourishment. It's not high in vitamins and minerals. It's probably high in some other bad stuff like refined sugars or etc. So when we eat it, it's not necessarily offering us very much. That being said, we are human beings, and one of the perks of being a human being is that we get to do things that we want to do simply because we want to do them. Eating foods that aren't necessarily nutrient dense. Yes, you heard it here from a real live nutrition professional. It's okay to eat foods that aren't nutrient dense. And I want to talk about this because I feel like it ties back to our relationship with food. And this is a big thing for me when working with my clients, when teaching in my programs. We often tend to label foods as good or bad, black and white. I should eat all the foods in the good column. I should not eat these. And when I eat things that are bad, I am in turn bad. And I got a real big problem with this because it's simply not the case. Unless you ate that bad food while you were simultaneously committing murder, there's nothing morally wrong. You have no moral problems because you ate a food that is in the so-called bad column. And I know this is a little different from the stuff we usually talk about on this channel, but sometimes I gotta get up on the soapbox and preach. Okay, so to recap, foods labeled as empty calories are foods that deplete us of nutrients. And so this is important. I'm not saying go out and eat all the, low nutrient foods. I want us to understand the concept and what we're really meaning when we're talking about empty calorie, because we're not talking about bad. There are no morals here, but it is good to be aware of the fact that these foods deplete us of nutrients, especially sugar. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of nutrients for our body to go in, digest, assimilate, absorb, all of the stuff that needs to happen after food enters us. It takes nutrients. And usually, once all the stuff has happened, we then get nutrients from the food. But that's not the case with sugar, right? We're just going to use sugar as a blanket example because it's processed, it's stripped, it doesn't offer any nutrition. Okay, so that's what we mean. So it comes in and it uses minerals without giving any. So if we're constantly engaging with that food item, eventually we're going to get more and more and more depleted in minerals. And this is the same thing when it comes to processed foods, all of that stuff. This is the concept we want to be aware of. It's taking nutrients and it's not providing any nutrients. And so, yeah, that's important, and we want to make sure that we're not always depleting ourselves of nutrients without ever giving ourselves nutrients. So, yes, of course, we want to eat good foods, we want to eat whole foods, we want to eat nutrient-dense foods, but that doesn't mean if we're healthy and we've got a good nutrient status that we then can't eat an empty calorie or a low nutrient food. In fact, the more work you do to replenish those nutrients, to make sure that you've got a good nutrient status, to make sure that digestion is working well, that detoxification is working well, the easier your body is going to be able to handle something that is more depleted or depleting in nutrients. Now, the other thing to note is that some of these empty calorie, low nutrient dense foods provide us with other forms of nourishment, such as mental and emotional. And this is the other concept, the other thing that we really need to address when looking at those foods. Because, again, I'll say it again, it's not a bad thing to have some ice cream every once in a while. You're not a criminal. It's okay. What's not okay, though, is numbing and distracting and refusing to engage with our emotions. And food is very often used as a tool to do just that. So the real work is this. It's identifying what those emotional connections are. And again, they're not all necessarily bad. There's a pie that my grandmother made every Christmas. It's essentially crackers and sugar. It's definitely not nutrient dense, but I have so many happy memories surrounding that pie, and I'm excited to eat it every year. And that's okay. I know the emotional connection. I know that that's a big part of the enjoyment. And that's what allows me to eat it without then guilt tripping myself and shaming myself for it afterwards. And that's what I would call a healthy emotional connection with food, a way that allows me to connect with my family. You know, when we make the pie every year, it's an exciting, happy thing. Everyone wants a piece, right? So these healthy emotional connections, it's okay to keep those. We don't have to, brand ourselves an emotional eater and shame ourselves for that either. But then again, I also have a tendency when I'm upset and when I don't want to deal with something to grab the ice cream as a form of distraction. And refusing to look at that can lead to, of course, overeating ice cream, whatever. So we want to look at these connections. We need to sit with our feelings, and I know we're here for a nutrition video, but the longer I'm in the game, the more I realize how important this connection is. It's not as simple as follow this set of rules and eat these foods, because we're humans, we have emotional connections, we have a lot of freedoms available to us. So, to wrap everything up, 2 things. First thing is to understand, what does empty calorie even mean? It means we're depleting ourselves of nutrients. So the first thing we want to do is go in and make sure that we've got enough of those nutrients from other foods, from supplements, etc. And the other thing is taking a look at our emotional connection to food. Not all of them are bad, not all of them are good. It's just something that needs to be looked at and addressed. And then, because you're a real live adult, you can make whatever decisions around it you want. So I wish you good nutrient status, and I wish you good luck facing your emotional needs and your emotional connections. Thank you for being here for this, slightly different nutrition video this week. Make sure to look at the links in the description for a link to the quiz that you can take to figure out where you should start when it comes to healing your gut and improving your overall health, as well as a coupon code for my course, Gut Health 101. Go follow me over on the Instagram at Chelsea K. Mancini, and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so that you get notified every week when these videos come out. See you next week.